What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to more Outriders. Now, recently, we literally just had a patch that came out for Outriders. So I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about what that patch is, why it was pushed out, and then what we can expect from the next update or the next patch. So if you guys are curious and want to stay up to date with more Outriders news, endgame builds, best farming methods, etc., all you got to do is tap that subscribe button, become a subscriber, and I will make sure that when I post those videos, they go directly to you. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into today's patch. Okay, so honestly, at this point, I'm pretty sure everybody and their mother is aware that the Outrider devs are under a lot of pressure to fix this huge inventory wipe that's been going on with a lot of people. Basically, if you're unaware or maybe you've been unaffected, players have been logging into their account and either some of their stuff is missing from their stash or their character, or some people are literally just logging in and everything is literally gone, like all of their legendaries, all of their gear, everything. And I don't mean to, giggle at that, but it's just unfortunate that a game like this that a lot of people have learned to love very quickly has a bug like that where people are losing all of their, they put 100 hours in and now they're losing all of that gear, all of those legendaries, all of that blood, sweat, and tears that they put into, week 1 or week 2. So that has been priority number 1 for the Outriders devs in terms of, what do we fix? Like, what's our number 1 objective? Now, from a developer's perspective, myself, I can honestly say that if you have a bug like this, the first thing you want to do is stop it from happening more. So with this recent patch, that's what they're doing. They're trying to stop it from happening to the rest of the player base, so that way they can then stop it and then they can go ahead and work on a fix or a restoration to go ahead and get the other players that were affected get their inventory back. So let's just go ahead and read what they have here. Hello everyone, we have just released a patch on Steam, Epic, Xbox, and PlayStation platforms that addresses the bug that has, since the previous update, been causing the inventories of certain players to be wiped. If your inventory has been impacted, please note that our efforts to restore your items are a separate process from today's released patch. Now, of course, that's very important to note that, again, this isn't going to get you your stuff back. This is just so that this doesn't happen to any more players from here on out. Now that they fixed that and they pushed that patch out, now they're going to be working on making sure that their restoration efforts are going to be worth it. They're going to work, and they're going to work for all of the player base that's been affected. So restoring the inventory of affected players is still their highest priority, while today's patch is intended to prevent the issue from continuing to occur. The restoration process is run via their server database and does not require a patch to be implemented. They also note that they will have news of this very soon. Now, there is another thing to note, and this obviously isn't in here probably, but I have seen that some people have been asking, like, hey, how do you exactly know if I've been affected? And believe it or not, based on their database, they can tell which items from which characters from which players were there around the time that this occurred and then just suddenly disappeared, right? They can track if you had legendary items in your stash or on your character, and then all of a sudden you have no dismantling, you have no selling, because they're going to query on that data. Basically, if your things just magically disappear, they're going to know that, hey, we need to go ahead and restore this player's inventory or whatever it is that they lost. So just to put that out there, they've already addressed this. Yes, they know who and who has not been affected by this bug. Now, it does mention important here, with this new patch, some players may occasionally encounter multiplayer connectivity issues, followed by inventory items being momentarily invisible. This is a known and only temporary behavior that is part of their 3-step inventory safeguarding measures. Now, they also say restarting your game or waiting a few minutes and then restarting your game should make your items appear again. Now, I know probably a lot of the player base is going to go, oh, here we go, more multiplayer connectivity issues, but honestly, that is way better than your inventory stuff being completely wiped and you losing everything, right? So whenever you implement a fix, whenever you have a bug, sometimes that fix is going to break some other things, and that just happens. It's honestly, that's what happens when you're developing something, when you're developing a program, when you're developing a game. It happens all the time, and it's pretty common. Now, the fact that they're being upfront and honest about it is what we should be applauding them for. That they're like, hey, we know that we have this huge bug, we fixed it, it did cause some other issues, we're letting you know up front, we're still aware of that, we're tracking these, and we're going to go ahead and get those fixed as well. Honestly, for them to be upfront like that as a developer of a video game in today's day and age, I mean, that is awesome. It's awesome for them to come out and just publicly address it and be honest and upfront with us. Now, this is very important. If you do encounter a wipe that occurs after installing the patch and is not resolved following a game restart, please immediately report it in this case edge subthread. So I will go ahead and make sure that I link this Reddit page in the description below. And if you've had a inventory wipe and you're watching this video, if you had an inventory wipe after today, what is today's date? The 15th. If you've had an inventory wipe after today, go ahead and go to that link that's in the description below. Go ahead and go to the edge case subthread and make your case and explain what happened. Now, they also note that while they are confident that the patch will prevent inventory wipes in the future, they do want to use the weekend to monitor the situation and ensure that no more players are encountering any related issues before we move onto the restoration process. Now, they will update us with final details as soon as they have tested it and confirmed what is possible. For any affected characters currently encountering a could not connect to the server, these characters will have their inventories returned as soon as their restoration process has been completed. So go ahead and keep an eye out for upcoming announcements regarding restoration and other Outrider related news updates. All right, so it looks like they gave a little bit more detail on the restoration process. They basically say that it's a one-off mass restoration, so anyone affected by this will still see their items restored. Now, here are their intentions for the restoration. Restoration should take place on a specific day and should be a one-time event. Now, the exact date is to be determined, but they're hoping for this to occur in the coming weeks. Now, they will also update us when they have confirmation of the date and the timings that they're going to be doing the restorations, and they'll only be able to restore the most valuable tiers of items lost, and those are going to be epics and legendaries. They will unlikely be able to restore any inventory full of blue gear, and then the restoration should be additive to your inventory, and it should not replace your current inventory. Now, this is very important. Restored items may not be the exact same stats as the lost items. Now, if they say they may not be the exact same stats, so basically what they're guaranteeing is that they're going to be able to give you your gear or your legendaries or epics back, but they're not going to be able to guarantee the exact same stats. So more than likely, if you get your stuff back, your stats could be worse, your stats could be better. At this point, it seems like they really don't have a way of giving you those stats back. So honestly, you know, if you lost some stuff, just hope for the best with that. Now, they also note that restoration will not be possible for items that were acquired, but where the game connection was terminated before an autosave could complete, as those items would never have made it into their server inventory or their logs. For any individual restorations that were missed or that occur in the future, they do plan to equip their teams to help on an ad hoc basis. And again, we just talked about this, that if you have an inventory wipe after today's patch, that you definitely need to go ahead and let them know. And again, that's probably going to be an ad hoc basis kind of thing where they're going to reach out to you and try to figure out what the issue was, because again that means that the fix that they applied for their bug doesn't work, or at least it doesn't work 100%, so they need to go ahead and fix that themselves. So any use cases where people are still getting the inventory wipes, they need to know, so that way they can go ahead and try to fix it even more. Now, this is what I love from these developers. They say that please note their intentions are to provide transparency. While they will try their hardest to make things right, they unfortunately cannot make guarantees for specifics of the above or the timeline of this, as they may run into technical difficulties that delay their work. And again, guys, even though these are devs, even though they do have some funding, they're backed by whatever, they are humans. This is development. This is a video game, right? Issues are going to occur. Bugs are going to appear. They're trying to be as transparent as possible, and they're just trying to fix, you know, the biggest issues first and then address the smaller issues later. So in all honesty, I'm going to be honest, from my personal opinion, I give the developer team a round of applause for how they've handled the situation. Everything from the first week, you know, server instabilities, you know, they were very transparent with that. They got a fix for that. Then you had the inventory wipe bug. They've been very transparent with that. They've been trying to work as hard as they can to get that fixed. Now they have it fixed, and they're going to be working on restoration later. So, you know, at the same time, they're very, very transparent with what they're trying to do, and they're very honest about the process. You know, they say, hey, this is what we're going to be able to do, and this is what we're not going to be able to do, right? So again, hats off to the developer team. Thank you guys for being so transparent. I can say that from the gaming community. Thank you so much for being transparent. We really honestly appreciate it. The game has been awesome. It is an awesome game. I'm sure a lot of you have already heard about us talking about, you know, where's the next DLC? When are we going to get more content? And even though that wasn't the exact intention when the game was released, you know, maybe hopefully we do get some of that. You know, you can only kind of wish for the best at this point. So with that being said, that is everything you need to know about today's patch. Now, if you are not a subscriber and you've come across this channel a couple of times, maybe you've seen a couple of videos, maybe you love Outriders, maybe you hate Outriders, maybe you're just looking for the next up and coming gamer to follow on YouTube, on social media, whatever, all you got to do is tap that subscribe button, and I'd very much appreciate that. Now, I do hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. I do hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.